Right, good evening, guys. I hope you're all well. Welcome to the first clinic of 26. Happy New Year in regards to this clinic, because I've not seen you yet, have I? Since we're obviously, this is the first one we've done in it. So the last week we did the KBB Supply Services stream with Tom, and we had a little bit of a different format to that, bit of a different background. As you can see, again, we're sexing it up a little bit. We will be mixing up the format as well tonight. So yeah, so let us know you can hear me okay. Give us a thumbs up. Make sure you say hello to each other in the chat. Remember, this is our community time. It's Wednesday, 7 o'clock. It is time to congregate in our church. Probably shouldn't say that because I get accused of it being a cult or something, which has been said before. But what's wrong with that, if it's doing good things? And why don't you want to belong to something? You know, it's nice in it to be part of something where we're all moving in the same direction. And something that, you know, I'm seeing across the academy at the moment is a lot of positive change. People are developing really quickly, loving it. Lots of people transforming into business people, which is what we want. And that doesn't mean being off the tools. That doesn't mean not driving a van. A business person, what makes you a business person is what goes on between these. Yeah. It's not what's always going on out there what makes you a business person. Like, people look at me and go, I walk around in a hoodie, you know, and I turn up to bloody meetings in trackies, trainers, and a hoodie because I've got nothing to prove to people. I couldn't give a shit, you know, because what makes me who I am is what goes on in between my ears, and people respect that, you know, and people will respect you as well for thinking and doing things in a certain way. All that exterior stuff. I mean, look how many people who you know of that you can just see through because they're full of shit. You know, they try to put the facade out there, but they can't back it up. And, you know, that's why staying grounded and becoming a business person starts in your head. And it stays in your head as well. It's not something that you suddenly go, oh, doing really well now, so I'm going to start acting differently, because that's when you're not being yourself, and that's not what we want, okay? And I'm seeing this across the academy, that people are staying grounded, staying mature, and yeah, it's really good to see. The energy shift is really positive at the moment. And like quiet wins that people are having are just happening. And we're going to talk about, obviously, wins tonight on the check-ins. Quite a lot of check-ins to do tonight, actually. And I'll be bringing in my special guest shortly to go through all that. So before we do that, I just want to go through, you know, what we are doing. So we've obviously got the event on Friday. So it's a really busy week and a really busy time in the academy at the moment. There's going to be a lot of change, not change for you, but change in the academy. And what I mean by that is the academy is just going to get a bit bigger. Yeah. So instead of it being the sort of website, sales process, and the 12 steps, there's going to be more modules coming, like Inner Circle, Gold Standard Membership, which is going to be linked to all sorts of benefits and things that you really do want to be aiming at. And we will be covering that, obviously, in a lot of detail on Friday at the event. And I'll be glad when it's out, to be honest, because it's getting a bit like, you know, you'll see what I mean in the next couple of weeks, but it's a really exciting time to be in the academy. You know, this is the time to be here for lots of reasons. And again, I will obviously be talking about this in way more detail at the event, and on the next stream, we'll probably cover some of it off. Well, we will definitely cover some of it off, because there'll be a period between the event and the next clinic where we want to sort of update you on things, because things are going to move pretty quickly now over the next few months. There's going to be a lot more interest in the academy and its members from the external world, which we've not really had before, which will be positive for you, especially because, as you'll see after Friday, being an academy member is actually going to help you, not just in the way that it currently helps you, but help you in the way that consumers knowing you're part of something like that is a good thing. Yeah. And, you know, don't want to spoil the surprise, but, you know, there's a lot of credibility going to be attached to being a Gold Academy member, as you'll find out more towards the end of the week. So we've got lots of stuff going on. I believe we'll see on the check-ins in a bit, but I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm not pretty sure. I know for sure. I can't remember if this is everybody that's done the check-ins, but the Boxing Day sales, you know, the stuff that we put out before Christmas and told you to do, that stuff as seems to have worked really well for people. So we've had quite a lot of people. Sorry, just going to have a bit of my tea. I've got a bit of a sore throat brewing, and I hope it doesn't explode before Friday, because that would be really annoying. So Yeah, the Boxing Day sales told it to put out the videos, the posts, and all the rest of it. It seems like it's worked really well. This there's been a lot of people saying that they've had inquiries from it on social media. So yeah, it's been really positive. That so if you did it and you didn't get anything, probably because might be just not your time. You might just be very early on, not got enough followers, not done enough previous social media, which will always hurt you. But I think the people that have said it's worked for them, no surprises. These are the people that were already doing the social media and being consistent with it. So with regards to the social media, and I'm going to cover this on Friday as well, because it's a bit of a problem, social media, and one that I understand because I have the same issues with it myself, which I'll explain on Friday. But social media is not something we can get away from. It really isn't something we can get away from. We've got to see more people doing it. You've got loads of free stuff in the academy that you just need to upload. It literally doesn't take that long, but people are still not doing it. And then I've noticed more people doing like their updates on the jobs and stuff like that. And this is what customers need. And it's no coincidence that the people that do the more social media have more work and get more work. And there isn't a silver bullet here. Don't look at this and go, oh, I'll just do loads of social media then. Yes, you should be doing that. But, when you're Academy Plus and you're a Witch Trusted Trader, you're doing your social media, you're staying close to us, using your trade portal and stuff like that. These are the signals. These are the things that help you move on, doing your check-ins, doing your 90 minutes, all that stuff. There's not one silver bullet, but when you commit yourself and do all those things, it's, go and speak to some of the more successful members. They'll all tell you the same thing. They always come to the events, they always watch the streams, they always do check-ins, they always do the social media, they've joined Academy Plus, they're a Witch Trusted Trader. This is not a coincidence. You can't have all those things as a common denominator for success in the academy and it not be true. Do you get what I mean? So all I'm doing is relaying what we see and what the actual truth is. So yeah, you need to be watching what's going on around you, especially if you're not having the success that you want and you want more. And everybody's always going to want more. But the point is that if you're not doing some of the basics and you're still, not in Academy Plus, then that's fine if you're going to do the work yourself. But if you're not in Academy Plus and you're not doing it and it's just not happening, well, we're not getting off the launch pad here, are we? We're not getting off the launch pad. So yeah, again, I'm going to be there's going to be a massive push this year on getting you where you need to be, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to deploy fancy sales tactics on people to get them to do stuff because I've got nothing to sell you at the end of the day. I just want to make sure you stay in as a member and you build the business that you want. Yes, there are some services within the academy that you should definitely take advantage of. But as I've said to you before, we don't make money on that shit. £175 a month for Academy Plus is it's a joke. Do you know what I mean? So, you can't look at it and say, oh, you're just trying to get people onto these packages. Because if I was trying to get people, if I was trying to make money on Academy Plus, you'd be, well, if I had a separate marketing agency, I'd be charging for Academy Plus probably £700-800 a month on its own, because the work that it brings in people is worth way more than that. So again, cost versus value. Although I've always preached about charge what the value is, we with Academy Plus went based on the cost because you're buying products from us at the end of the day. So it would be unfair in my eyes. Other people wouldn't think it was unfair. Some people would go, no, fuck it, charge what it is. But we didn't do that because we don't feel like it's not helping you get going at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? We're trying to help people get off the ground. And when you're on the ground, it's hard to fork up that sort of money. And, when your business brain hasn't fully developed, you're definitely not going to see the value in it. So that's why Academy Plus is priced so low, is because it needs to be for where people are at that point in their life. And, we hope that like anyone in Academy Plus that's been in it for a period of time will go, that's a fucking steal. That's a joke. I think anyone would agree that's been in it for a while and he's getting the work from it and he's building businesses basically off the back of it because it's bringing lots of traffic and leads into the website. I think anybody would agree at this point that £175 is a bit of a joke. And I honestly don't, not that I'm going to do this, but I honestly do also think that if we said we're going to start charging £400 a month for Academy Plus, a lot of people would still pay it. Do you get what I mean? And we're not doing that, by the way, but it would still be good value at that level. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I feel like if you are still looking at it and you're not doing the work yourself You know, because we know the impact this has on people, and you know the impact that Academy Plus has had on their businesses, and becoming a witch trusted trader and doing just those key elements I've spoke about before. If you're not doing any of them things, and you're also not doing it yourself, then you really are not thinking straight, in my opinion. And you'll sit there and go, well, you know, well, money's tight and it's all the other. Money's always tight, no matter what. Do you know what I mean? But at some point, you've got to speculate. Now, if you want to join Academy Plus, as you always know, I always do some sort of offer around the event, and I probably will on Friday again, because I'm always encouraging people to do it. And we will have an opportunity on Friday. Again, I'm not going to, you know, make things a surprise all the time. You know, you come into the event on Friday, you might not have joined Academy Plus. Yes, at the event, I will do a short segment on it because it's so important. You know, so I apologise to people that have already got Academy Plus, but it'll only be a 10-minute segment, and there will be an opportunity for about 10 or 15 people to join Academy Plus again, and they will get a delayed payment. So what we normally do at events, because I like to reward people that come to events and watch the streams. So that's why I'll start putting stuff out on the streams. That, like, if you do this tonight, you know, like we did a few weeks ago, we did it on this stream with Academy Plus and the extra services on your websites. We can't do it all the time because at £175 a month, there's only so many people we can service with it. And to be honest with you, if every single member joined Academy Plus, we'd have a problem because we'd have to do the work for them. And, you know, we are ourselves not resourced up enough yet to do that. But we are pushing it that way. And it will get there, because I feel like everybody at some point, if they reach the right level of business brain maturity, they should be in Academy Plus, like 100%. So again, there will be an opportunity on Friday for those at the event who want to jump on it, and there will be a delayed payment. Probably payments won't start till May, which should give you 3 months to do it, and all the rest of it. But some of the things, again, that I want to discuss on Friday, and I will bring it to the attention in the room, is that social media can't be left on the table, because there are some people in Academy Plus that, again, and I hate this thinking that people have where they think, oh, I'm in Academy Plus, so it'll just work for me now. No, you've still got to do your bit. You've still got to do the bits that you've got to do. You know, like people in Academy Plus, most people do put the case studies in, most people do the social media in Academy Plus, but some don't. And these are the same people that still come back and go, oh, I've been in Academy Plus for 4 months. I've not really had much. I've had a bit, but not much. But when you look at it, you go, well, you haven't given us any fucking case studies. So your website's not really being optimized properly because you're being fucking lazy. And you're not doing your social media. So those two key elements of the bit that you need to do is making it really hard for us to help you. And again, I think, don't jump into the, oh, well, if I pay a subscription, it should just work. No, because it's a service at the end of the day. And it's although it's a very important bit, it's still a very small bit of what the business is about, or your business is about. Do you get what I mean? So, yeah, I just wanted to cover that off, really. And then make sure that you're all thinking in the right place. And then obviously we've got Inner Circle coming up, which is basically, Inner Circle is a holding area for gold members. So when you get invited to Inner Circle, which again, I'm not going to make it a secret, it's probably going to happen when you have become, when you've probably joined Academy Plus. Because again, if you're not thinking like a business person, we're not going to give you more stuff to think about if you're not mastering the basics, if that makes sense. So if you're still not a witch trusted trader because you think, oh, I don't see the point, well, you're still not thinking right then, are you? And you're not joining Academy Plus because you don't see the point, well, you're not thinking right then, are you? So you're not going to come into Inner Circle, because what's the point of bringing you into Inner Circle when you're not getting it? So you got to wait until you get it. And then when we see that you're getting it, we go, right, come into Inner Circle. Now we're just going to tighten up a few things in Inner Circle, and then you'll go for gold, which isn't difficult, shouldn't be a problem. If you're doing the things, if you're doing your 90 minutes, if you're building your business, if you're doing all the right stuff, it's a given. You know, it's something that should just happen naturally, and it will happen naturally for a lot of people. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that end up as gold members probably by February, March. So yeah, that's that, and it's a really exciting time. And once gold members have become gold members, they will get a lot of attached credibility for that. And again, all that will be coming out at the event on Friday. So other updates I need you to be aware of are the design service. I know this is the Academy stream, but I do need to mention the design service. So what I want to go through is what's changing. So we're upgrading the design service to create a clear structure. I'm reading something now, so again, if it sounds a bit robotic, my apologies, but this is what I've been sent to read out. I'll elaborate on bits where I feel like I need to. So we're upgrading the design service to create a clear, structured and transparent customer journey. from first submission to quote and renders. So customer specific design folder. So what's going to happen is everybody's going to get a design folder. So instead of you getting individual groups and messages and attachments in WhatsApp, we're going to create a Google Drive folder for you for every single member. So say Bob the Builder will get a design folder, and in there there'll be all of your quotes, amendments and stuff. So you've got a record of everything as well that'll build up over time. So if you want to go back to something, it's going to be a lot easier. Whereas at the minute, to go back to stuff for you and us, it's a fucking pain in the ass because everything's all over the place. We've got stuff in our Monday boards. It is in there, and you can find it, but it's not easy to find. And for you, if you want to go back to a job, or you've got people coming on in your business, you know, where you're thinking, right, I want to have a central place to store all this stuff, quotes, renders, 2D plans, updates, amendments, all that type of stuff. We'll be putting that into a Google Drive folder, and then the designers will store it in there, so you have got one single place to go. Okay, so it'll be stored in one place with a quote reference number. The initial design will go in there, all amended design versions, and then the final renders. This removes version confusion, lost files, and unclear latest design issues, because we know that does get lost at times, and it gets confusing which one's the latest version. And mistakes have happened as a result of that, obviously, because it's easy to pick out the wrong one, send it to the fucking customer, or price from it, and then you go, shit, that wasn't the right one. So again, this is incremental gains now. It's like we're getting into the point where we're trying to weed out the small issues now. So I think some of the biggest things in this is there'll be a proactive design status update. So customers will receive, you being the customer, will receive clear WhatsApp updates at each key design stage. So what will happen is, instead of it being groups, it'll be one WhatsApp number, right? So you'll get a notification. So there'll be template notifications. So it will be a bit more robotic in the sense that you'll get template messages, because these will be triggered from the design team when your design is at certain stages. Okay, so stage one will be form submitted. You know when you've done that because you've done it. And again, make sure you're submitting the right stuff. As we said with Tom last week, make sure that you are doing that properly. Then you get a forecasted time of return. Yeah, so again, this has always been a gripe and a bone of contention that people, because we don't have a live update system, you know, if we have a designer off, or you know, like I said to you before, some people clog the system up with shit as well sometimes, and that becomes a fucking massive irritation, because we end up firefighting and slowing the design service down because people send shit information in. So again, we're always trying to fight that as well. And it's not a big problem, but it always seems to happen at the wrong time. So we will be given a forecasted time of return. Then we'll have an in progress. So once the design's been started, you'll get an in progress notification. And then the final notification will be quote and render sent. So when you get the quote renders sent, what will happen then is you will go to your Google Drive folder. The link will probably be in the template as well, I think, but at least you'll know, right, it's there. I'll go to my Google Drive folder, and that's where it'll be. This obviously replaces silence with certainty and sets expectations up front, because I know how frustrating it is if you're sat there waiting for design, you want to get it back to the customer, and you don't really know what it's up to, you have to chase. And I know how irritating it is for the designers when they're up against it, and you know, they're firefighting a lot of things, and then so it's just friction that we don't need, basically, and it does flare up at times. It is irritating on both sides. So again, we're trying to reduce that. There'll always be something, won't there? You know, someone will always find something wrong or to whinge about, but at least we're trying to do something about the things we know about right now. But like whack-a-mole is, we'll solve this and then be fucking something else. So what will then happen is, once you've got your quote and render sent, there'll be a 24-hour live amendment window, right? So once that designer sends that design, that designer is linked into that chat for 24 hours. So what this is about here, this is about, so say for instance, you need a little tweak done to the design. It's not quite an amendment, you know, because you haven't done the design session yet, but you see something wrong with the design, or you think, shit, I need to change that before I go and see the customer. There's a 24-hour window there where that designer is still active in that chat, okay? After 24 hours, and this is driven by a computer, so it's automatic. So after that 24 hours, you will need to do an amendment, yeah? So after that chat closes, and you'll need to do an amendment, okay? So again, the rationale here is that if a design comes over and you go, shit, that's not quite right, I need to change that, that's a little tweak, and that can just be that can be done quickly. An amendment is what happens after your design session. Yeah, so a little tweak in the 24-hour window, and then the amendment happens after the full design session with the customer, where the customer said, I want to change this, and this, and this, and all that shit. And then that's when it comes back as an amendment, and you'll always do that through the app. Okay, we're not going to get back into WhatsApp at that point, because it needs to go through the app, because that then comes back into the system, and then it starts on the amendment process. Okay, so this will enable fast clarification on layout, finishes, and design intent. After this window, further changes are moved into a structured amendment process, like I just said. So why this matters: so clarity, you'll always know what stage your design is at. Speed, you'll get faster responses and quicker refinements. Confidence, one organized place for all designs, you know what you're looking at each time. And then quality, you get direct access to the designer who knows the project. Yeah, so it won't be handed off. So in the previous system, if you put an amendment in, that amendment can land with a different designer. So you need to make sure that you're being clever here in terms of using that 24-hour window properly, and we will always strive to pass that amendment back to the original designer. But obviously, if someone's off on holiday or they just can't get to it, it's not going to be something that we can guarantee, but it's definitely something that we're trying to achieve. But obviously, there can be weeks or months in between designs and amendments. So please bear that in mind, that it isn't always going to be possible. So the strategic outcome here is a more professional, scalable design service that reduces inbound chasing, improves design accuracy, protects designer focus time. Again, we're precious about making sure the guys' brains aren't being burnt out with over communications and stuff, because at the end of the day, we want their expertise to be put into the design. We don't want their brains absolutely frazzled with WhatsApps. And that does happen, and then mistakes happen, and then it creates more fucking tension. So and overall, it'll elevate the customer experience for yourselves. So I hope that makes sense. That's the design service. These designed, well, I've just told the people developing this just to get on with it and do it, and just let me know when updates are made, so we can obviously relay the updates to you. So when a system does change, you'll be notified. But for now, we just carry on as normal. Speak to the designers. Please try and have a bit of patience with us throughout this period, because it is not easy to move this. It's not easy to change the wings of a plane when it's in the air. And the reason why we're doing this is because of the issues we've had with the previous WhatsApp system. It came to light last week that we can't fix it very easily, and it was time for a change. And what's also going to happen is in the Academy Plus, so Academy Plus people will be able to see their designs in a bit more detail in the project dashboard. So every Academy Plus member gets a project dashboard. So what we are developing is you will be able to see your designs actually happening in real time. If you're not Academy Plus, you'll just be getting the WhatsApp notifications. But if you're Academy Plus, so what will happen is you'll get your designs in your project tracker. Some of those will turn into jobs, so it will give you a more broad overview of where you're up to. So at the minute, the project tracker relies on you to take the costs from your trade portal and then put it into the project tracker manually. But what will happen once we've developed this properly in a week or two, Academy Plus people will be able to see the designs in the Monday project tracker. Some of them will turn into jobs, and then obviously from there you'll manage the costs on that job. And again, while we're on that subject as well about costs, we have also overhauled the step 3 in the 12 steps. So in there now, as you probably would have seen on the WhatsApp notification, we have got what did we do? So we've got the set your rates lesson. So basically, if you go to step 3 in the 12 steps, you've got set your rates and lock in your profits. You've got basics of quoting, lesson 1. Set your rates and lock in your profit, which is where you are putting your rates into a spreadsheet, because again, this will now allow you to have specific labor rates for your business in your trade portal, which has always been a blind spot of the Academy, that you know, setting your labour rates has always been one of our weak spots in the quoting sort of world. But now we've developed the trade portal a bit more, and we're sort of enhancing the ecosystem here to encapsulate, you know, the design service as well. You can see where it's going. It's getting a lot easier every time we add these new developments in. So set your rates and lock in your profit is lesson one. So if you go to the WhatsApp group, I sent a message Tuesday morning saying that you've that this has been updated. So make sure you are putting a 90-minute session aside for this. This is not negotiable. You need to do it, because if you don't, again, go and watch that video. I'm not going to repeat what I've just said, you know, earlier in that video that's in there. Go and watch it on the tutorial for set your rates and lock in your profit. Go and watch that video and watch it to the end. Then you've got a tutorial adding installation costs into your quote, and then we've put in like an extra tutorial after that, which is the broad overview of the trade portal and making sure that you're profitable, not just across installation, but across all of the things that you're quoting. And at this point, everybody should be understanding markups and margins. So if you are sat there going, I still don't know, I still don't get markups and margins, there's in step 2, you've got to go. Do not come out of January 2026 not knowing step 2 and 3 of the academy. If you get to February the 1st of 2026 and you still don't know step 2 and 3, then you should probably leave, because you're not going to make it a success, and you know you're pissing in the wind. And it just really irritates me, this, because you can't do this without knowing step 2 and 3. You can't carry on in this venture without knowing the maths properly. Yeah, you can't do it. So please stop trying. And I think that you're just going to prolong pain if you try to run a business and you don't understand the maths behind it. And for some of you now, you're way too far into this to keep using any sort of shit excuse. So step 2, you've got earn 10k a month fitting 2 kitchens, content, know your outgoings, know your maths, how to charge VAT properly. These are all big issues that you all have. You know, this is all in there. Step 3, basics of quoting, tutorial on setting your rates, your labour rates, tutorial on adding costs into your quote portal, trade portal, whatever, and then the overview of the trade portal. So you've got to be fluently using this trade portal, setting up quotes, knowing where you've made money, knowing where you've lost money, and tweaking things as you go along in business. As I say in that video, you've got to have money in the bank to be able to write the checks to make the problems go away, basically. If you think that in business you're going to survive with a thin margin and not really knowing your pricing, and at some point a problem is going to come and take you out of the game, yeah, and you're not going to recover from it because you didn't have the money to get out of it. And that's why I'm saying to you, I'd rather people, you know, not give up, but, you know, get to the 1st of February and go, I can't be asked. Instead of causing myself long-term pain, I'm just going to go. And it'd probably be easier than, you know, putting yourself through the pain of being ignorant, basically. And, you know, thinking that you can wing it. You're not special. I'm not special. We have to understand the numbers. You can't fly a plane and refuse to look at the dials. Do you get what I mean? You can't run like that. And some of your businesses, you know, some of you are getting up to, like, you know, what did we say last week? Enzo getting up to, he's gone from 11 jobs to 30 jobs. Now, in that process, he bought a year, that is. And in that process, he bought a new house, you know, off the back of being a successful academy member. Now, he's been attuned to his numbers, clearly, because he wouldn't be able to do those things if he wasn't attuned to his numbers. And that is what happens when you do it properly in the way we say, is you grow it sustainably and properly and profitably. Do you get what I mean? You've got to have that cash in the bank. Yes, I know it's like that mysterious number where you go, well, I've made that money last month. Where is it? Do you know what I mean? And I know that it feels like that. But what you got to remember in business, it's a constant cycle of leads, sales, conversion, profit, margin, or pay your overheads, get to the end of the month. And this cycle does this, yeah? It doesn't do that and just stop. You don't just stop and go, where's my profit? That's why you've got to be consistent. That's why you need leads, you need conversion, you need to be doing your scorecard, you need to do your cash flow sheet. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why those things are there, because they keep you in a rhythm. Yeah. And when you break that rhythm, you break it, it just stops. Do you get what I mean? And you've made the commitment to go forward here and actually run a business and take it seriously. And if you think that you're going to do that without knowing the numbers, you're not, mate. You're not. It's not happening. So anyway, rant over. That's enough about that. I don't really want anyone to throw the towel in on the 1st of February, by the way. I'm sort of trying to push the point home there of how important it is. Yeah. If you do have concerns, let us know. There is a help button in every lesson in the academy that you can press and get help very quickly. You've got your WhatsApp groups. There's no excuse. Right, cool. Right, so we're going to get onto the check-ins. We've got quite a few to get through, and we're already half an hour in, but I feel like you needed those updates. I couldn't really get around what I've just said there, unfortunately. So strap yourselves in. Let's welcome him into the room. Let's get the check-ins done, and let's bring Lee into it. All right? Let's bring him in. Welcome to your first clinic.
Yeah, brilliant.
What was it like being famous?
Well, it's I've had to start getting carrying a black marker pen everywhere I go because I get stopped in the street everywhere I go.
Well, Tom's not been able to go out since last week.
No, but the great thing is you get the VIP tables in the restaurant, so I'm enjoying that.
Yeah. And Tom said he's never had so much sex in his life since last week. He said it's been unbelievable. with strangers, you know, like in the
absolutely.
Anyway, we'll leave that joke there because it'll get out of hand. So let's crack on with the check-ins. Sorry, I'm nursing a bit of a sore throat a few days before the event, which isn't.
Yeah, great news.
Not fucking clever, is it? That. So yeah, we'll try our best and try and. That's why I'm glad you're here. Actually, I'll try and speak a little bit less tonight to preserve my voice. So we've got 7 check-ins to do.
Yep.
A few we've pulled out, and we'll do them separately because they need more personal talkings. Probably not right for the live stream.
Yeah.
So right, let's move on. I'm going to be guided by Lee, so Lee will guide me through the check-ins, and I will interject and put my 2 pennies worth in where it's helpful. So fire away, mate. Who we got first?
So we've got Rob Stevenson, and I think it's nice to see here. I just want to point out that the content that we're getting now in the check-ins is becoming more and more in depth. So it's like the reflecting time of filling these check-ins is becoming really good. And Rob is notoriously now religious on putting these in. So
yeah,
it's
he is, yeah.
So we'll start with Rob, Phoenix Kitchen, celebrating wins. So have learnt the quoting process with looms, now enjoying doing them, as it gives me a sense of pride when I see the finished proposal with a video walkthrough. Using looms when I have tech issues now as well to show what's happening on the screen at my end. Over Christmas, learnt the social postings for the sales and scheduled the 54 posts to start on the 10th of January. On returning from Romania, he's now received his voluntary VAT registration. He's ordered some worktops for a job this week from a returning customer. This is where it gets exciting. So he's completed 2 kitchen surveys, quoted one with loom and awaiting designs for the second. Completed a bathroom survey with a returning customer as well, using the catalogue and website pages, and won the job with a 10k labour cost. Going to get the 3D renders done so they can visualise the completed project. They thought he'd lost a potential kitchen project completely as the customer came back to me on WhatsApp to say it was over their budget and they couldn't see the value. I replied and highlighted the value with going with us, then did a follow-up call a couple of days later, now making some slight tweaks to the design and quote, which will hopefully secure the job.
Yeah, it's just something to pause on there is when the customer just want to tap into the emotional response there from the customer, because it is a real thing that, and what that customer's going through in their head is, I want to use you, but I just need you to push me over the line and justify it.
Yeah.
That is basically what the customer's saying. But when they say that is what they mean. So yeah. just hold that thought. When a customer says, not like, don't take it personally, just be like, just explain it, because I think they're actually saying to you here, they're projecting the fact that they really like you, they really want to use you, but they're just struggling a little bit with something. So if you can just put them last bits in their head, then you'll get it over the line.
Yeah. He's getting more leads coming through Checker Trade now and Google, which looks promising for a busy year ahead. And he's booked in for the live event on Friday, which he's looking forward to.
Good. And Rob's Academy Plus.
Rob is Academy Plus. I think, there's lots of. He's gone on a long journey. My 10 pence in here. He asked me over the Christmas period to review some of his videos, which I did, but there was nothing I could feed back. we say it with all our videos, he could nitpick and tweak slightly things, but where he is now, just the fact that he's doing them, and he noted it here, the fact that he can see the value in the videos, and his customers clearly can.
Yeah.
It's really good to see.
Yeah.
And
And he's come such a long way, like in his own head as well, you know, because he had every excuse under the sun to not be where he is today. And I
100%.
think that's the biggest thing about this, is that he's actually gone against the grain. I think he's listened. I think that's the main thing, is like, some people don't, well, whether you like it or not, the hard line that I take with people when they're having tough times is because I take that line with myself.
Yeah.
You know, and like, as I said in my interview with you, that, you know, you can choose to wallow, or you can just choose to get on with it, you know, and no matter how bad the news is you're dealing with, that choice is always going to be the same. And it's hard. It's a harsh reality, but at the end of the day, it is reality. And Rob's decided to pick, you know, what do we always say? The hard path is always the one that takes you where you want to be.
Yeah.
It's never the easy path. The easy path never leads to anything better. It's always the hard path. Do you know what I mean? And when you choose the hard path, and now he's getting the results from it, and he's conditioned himself now for the future, where when shit happens, he knows how to deal with it. And that's the thing you can't put a value on, because he's conditioned a mental process now, that he's proved to himself that he can overcome difficulties. He can, you know, and customers are seeing the value, and he's getting the confidence in himself, and that'll just pump his self-worth and his confidence up. So for the next 5 to 10 years, he'll be cruising if he just stays on this track now.
Well, he's been tenacious with everything that he's done. He's been tenacious with learning the videos. He's been tenacious with, you know, the upset, because it really rocked him, some of the stuff that was happening to him. And he's definitely been tenacious with learning the systems and that, you know, he'll often say it was a bit painful at first, you know, going through, getting his head around stuff. But what I'm seeing is as he's learning the basic stuff, it's increasing his knowledge. So learning the new, the more advanced things, he's now becoming a little bit easier. Yeah. And eventually it's like you've always said, they're just learning, picking up a new tool, and it's just learning this new craft. And it's becoming, you know,
that's why I say, if I was joining the academy as a fresh person now, I would just sit in front of them videos and learn everything that's in the sales process, and learn everything that's in the 12 steps. Until I understood all that properly, that is the best way to master it. Because then when people are talking to you, it's like when people might hear me say things and it's like, I didn't quite understand what you're saying there. If anybody ever has a moment where they think, I didn't quite understand what you said, then that's because you don't understand what's in the academy. You haven't spent enough time going through the videos.
Yeah. Well, he has laboured it, and you know, he went to Romania and he spent a lot of time doing it. So you know, we've got to sort of acknowledge that he's done a lot of this himself, but because he's been head down, arse up in the right places, which is the 12 steps, definitely.
And let's just point out the other thing that's always an astonishing thing, because when he was at the event in October, I think it was, when I first spoke to him, and it was a tough time, you know, by Christmas time, he'd straightened it all out.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying, like, it happens quickly when you just go for it. It does happen quickly.
Yeah.
You know, and it's always the case. And when you're pissing around, it just doesn't happen at all, does it? Or it's very wishy-washy. So, good.
No. So, on to the 12 steps then. So, where is he up to? So, he's just starting step 8. He's more comfortable about the lesson and implementing what's learned. Some things are on the back burner, i.e. van wrapping, until cash flow allows. So he's moved, but I think, just to reiterate, what he is doing is he's working through the 12 steps methodically and implementing the steps, and he's picking out the bits that's what he can.
Well, if he's got to win a couple of jobs to get his van wrapped, that's fine.
Yeah. Scorecard and cash flow sheet, are using these not properly, but starting to get familiar with them. That's where he's up to with his scorecard and cash flow. Personal growth. So massive shift in mindset, a lot more focused now. Tech issues are no longer bothering. Just reach out for help straight away and know I can resolve it by following the instructions. It's full of optimism for the year ahead. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel and know this is going to be the best year for growth, expansion, and profit by following the 12 steps.
Brilliant. Well done. That's all you can really say. And, you know, a shining example to everybody else, really, that, you know, no matter how shit it is, and I think he's had it shitter than probably anyone I've ever heard, you know, let's face it.
Yeah.
It's if he can do it, you can, you know, and well done to Rob.
Yeah. I don't know whether we can help him with the next one for areas of support. He needs a magic spell to get rid of his poxy cold and flu bug that he's had since Christmas. So
Yeah.
you don't want my medicine for that.
No, but I'll tell you what, I have been taking a lot, which is honestly, I'm not like promoting it, but that IM8, that David Beckham's brand,
You're right. Okay.
the supplements in that, like I've had all sorts of gut issues and energy issues since I've cut out caffeine properly. You know, like not. I know I still have a tickle with green tea, as everyone likes to point out that it's still got caffeine in it. But I do like my green tea, but it's nowhere near the level of content of caffeine that coffee's got in it. And I'm having that every morning. So 3 big changes I've made. I have that every morning, but I have the double stack. So there's 2 sachets. You get it's called the David Beckham supplement stack, whatever. It's about 80, 90 quid a month. So I have that. Plenty of green tea, and don't eat until about 11 o'clock. So like sort of an intermittent fasting window.
Yeah.
So since I've been doing that religiously and cut the coffee out, I feel tons better. Like,
Well,
can't tell you.
Well, I've been doing live bacteria gut health.
Yeah, well, the thing is, in IM8, if you look at that, that's got shitloads of stuff in it. It's got all that in it.
Yeah, well, I was enjoying,
Really
and what I've found is I've now my gut health has improved. I'm sleeping better, and I'm waking up fresher just because I'm not carrying, you know.
It's toxic load, and if you've got a prolonged cold or something like that, there's an underlying problem. It's not because you're picking up viruses. It's because your because you pick up viruses all the fucking time.
Yeah.
It's how your immune system deals with them. So if you're having an immune response that's not as good as it should be, if you're carrying a cold for that long, you've definitely got underlying, maybe run down, you know, probably just need to supplement a bit better, you know, sleep, hydration, all that. So give that a crack, see what happens.
Yeah. So the next one, any major concerns? Is there anything that's holding him back? So he's put here, currently using a loan to keep everything afloat, trying to keep away from the rocks, but getting close. With the bathroom win and other smaller jobs in the pipeline, I'm less anxious about it now, but no, I need to win a couple more decent projects to get back in the black.
Well, I mentioned earlier about this before you came on, about, you know, the flow of leads and conversion. I've been through this earlier on tonight, so if he's listened to that, then that should settle him down a little bit. But, you know, success is rented and the rent's due every day.
Yeah.
So what I mean there is you've got to get leads all the time. You've got to convert well all the time. You've got to do your surveys properly all the time. You've got to be consistent with your social media, you know, and that is how you stay away from the rocks, basically, you know, and get really consistent. And now he's seeing the green shoots after a few months of really focused effort. That will continue for him. I think the worst thing he can do now is get in his own way, you know, and start talking himself back out of it. Because we've seen people do this as well, haven't we? Where they go from a bad place to a good place and then snap back to old habits, which we all do, you know, and that will happen to a degree with everyone because change isn't linear. It comes in waves. Do you get what I mean? It comes in waves. It's like a good wave and then a shit wave and then a good wave and a shit wave. People think that success is one straight line and things just get gradually better. We don't. They get gradually better, then they get a lot fucking worse for a bit. And then it goes better again. And then it does this. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Do you think, just going back to the point of that, where he's in the 12 steps and that he's not properly using the cash flow and scorecard, do you think this is because he's acknowledged that he's at this point, do you think that now's a good time to focus on that, or do you think he's
avoiding it? It's the truth. You're not doing your cash flow because you're shit scared of looking at what it'll say.
Yeah.
You're not doing your scorecard because you've got insecurities. You'll always avoid the stuff that's difficult and painful, and the stuff that projects back to you, the stuff that you're uncomfortable about. You'll always avoid it. It'll always be the last thing on your list. So what we all cleverly do is we go, these are all the things that I'll do today, and the things that make me uncomfortable will always be at the bottom of that list. And then when you didn't get time to do it that day because you're really busy doing these things, just make yourself feel better about it. Yeah, I didn't do it because I didn't have time. Do you know what I mean? And it's all a bullshit. But the when you actually look at a scorecard and see red and see that you're not doing things, your brain subconsciously gets given the permission to go and do those things. When you avoid things, it gets worse. Anything you're looking at improves. Anything you're not looking at gets worse. It's as simple as that. And that's why no matter what your You know, no matter where you are, cash flow, scorecard, whether you're good or bad, that's why you always have to do it. You don't start doing it when it feels better. And you might wing it to a point where it does get better and you go, oh, fucking hell, I'm having a bit of cash in the bank. Oh, I'll start doing my cash flow sheet because I bet it's going to tell me something nice. Do you get what I mean? It's like, that's just fucking amateur. Like, you know, the proper business people don't look at the good things. Proper business people and proper successful people focus on the bad things, you know, and fix the bad things. Because if you think yourself as a business owner, a serious one, you're there not to ride the crest of the wave at the top of the success of the business. You're there to be in the fucking pits. You know, like me in our business, do you get what I mean? I have a torrid time constantly because I am just bombarded with fucking shit from everyone day and night. You problem here, problem there, problem here, problem there. I'm not living a high life, taking the, you know, the success of the business and grazing on that, you know, and because you can't at the end of the day, if you're a proper business person, you understand what your mission is, you are in the fight constantly because there's always fucking something wrong. Even if it works today, it might not work tomorrow. You got to stay ahead of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like what we do with the academy. We constantly upgrade it because you've got to keep moving things forward. And at the level that the guys are at, the cash flow sheet and the scorecard, that's why they're there, because they're the things that you have to stay focused on. They're the things that will fix the problems. Now, if you're not focusing on trying to fix the problems, well, it's not going to work, is it?
No.
You know, you're going to have a bad month at some point where it takes you out the game. One bad month at some point will be your last month because there'll be something where you've not seen it coming because you weren't doing your scorecard, you weren't doing your cash flow sheet, there was no early warning signs that something was going to go wrong.
No, and I think, you know, and a key point there, I think, is, you know, where Rob said that, especially here, he said, what can we do to best support him? Keep being there when I need support. Something that you did a while ago was during a check-in, somebody had submitted a scorecard and everything looked great. But what you also pointed out was something that they wouldn't have seen was, it's great right now, but in 2 weeks' time, you're going to have a problem. So
yeah, what's interesting about that story, it was Grant, who does the most jobs of everyone in the academy. He does 50 to 60 jobs a year. And I spotted on his scorecard that he wasn't taking deposits.
Yeah.
So cash invoice that week was like, I said to him, everything looked normal, but he wasn't taking deposits. Now, this is a first world problem to most people in the academy. They were fucking, like, you know, I'd like to have that problem. But the problem is when you get to that level, the consequences become a lot more severe for making mistakes. Do you get what I mean? So it's all right thinking, oh, I'd like to have that problem, but really you wouldn't because you're not at a level where you can deal with that yet.
Yeah.
You know, and what the point is what I spotted was he wasn't taking deposits. So deposits taken each week was like, seemed to be, leads were there, conversions were there, but proposals signed and deposits were starting to be, so I thought there's got to be a problem here. So I said to him, what's going on here? He said, oh, I've been out on site a lot, so I've been not in the office as much. And, you know, I've not got things signed and I've not took deposits, but it don't matter because we've got loads of money in the bank. I went, no, that doesn't work like that. I said, that money will be fucking gone like that. And suddenly you'll be scrambling around, you know, looking for deposits and signatures. And that's, you know, a good thing that you could do that, but that's not the way you run your business. And this was a while ago, to be fair to Grant. This was quite a while ago now. So this isn't his current trend. Now he's on top of it. It's funny how now he's got on top of that and he's been more disciplined. Now his business has gone up another level.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's why the discipline on the scorecard is there. And knowing how to read that scorecard is basically critical. And that's why sending them to us is important because we will spot things that you won't spot.
Yeah. So I think Rob needs to get that in quite quickly, I think, no, so that's Rob's check-in. Like I said, cool. my bit, I think he's definitely come a long way. And you know, he's doing what you like to say. He's telling you what the problem is and also telling you what he needs to do to fix it throughout that check-in, which is good.
Yeah, cool. Right, let's shift on then. Well done, Rob. Let's get on with the next one.
So the next one is Matthew Albone from Albone Interiors. Celebrating wins. So nobody was murdered in the house over the Christmas break. So that was a good win for him. He's had a couple of leads drop in after.
I was about to say the same.
He's had a couple of leads drop in after the New Year posts. The 12 steps transition, he's plugging his way through the videos again. So he's going through those. And and his scorecards look okay. He's sending his scorecards in, which is good. So we'll review those in. We will do a private message on his scorecards outside of this.
Yeah.
Personal growth. He finally thinks he's figured out what the problem is that's causing his back issue. Who knew a pillow would make all the difference?
Well, if you don't get a good night's sleep, everything fucks up, doesn't it?
Yeah. So areas for support. So Magical 8K, the accountant informed me that I should have started VAT registered back in June, not this month. So the profit from this month's job should cover a good chunk of it. Maybe an audit of my older blogs for improvements on the SEO.
Right, so just on the VAT before we move on from that. So again, Aaron's economics, right?
Yeah. Here we go. We got this out.
So HMRC, if you can't pay it on time, you know, and you've got a VAT bill, they will fine you for it being late, and it will add a little bit on. Depends how big it is, but obviously you will feel it. But if you looked at it and went, right, there's two options here. You either just pay it late, you do a time to pay. So if you want to spread it out, so let's say it's £8,000, or let's say it's £9,000 for easy maths, because I'm not good at maths. Let's say you've got £9,000 and you go, right, I've not quite got £9,000, but I could do £3,000 a month for the next quarter. So you just spread it out. Do you get what I mean? So you have ring them up and go, this is what I'm going to do. They might say, oh, no, you can't do that. Say, well, I'm going to. So that's what it's going to be. And tough shit, because that's, I've done that with them in the past when I had difficulties with them, because they're not easy to deal with. And sometimes you have to sort of say, with HMRC, you have to be sort of, this is what I'm going to do. Because what HMRC want is a competent business owner that can ring them up and say, this is my problem, this is what I'm going to do about it. And you're like, oh, well, I'll have to get authorization for that. Well, that's fine, but this is what I'm going to do. I'll pay a third of it, then a third of it, then a third of it, then. And by the end of the next quarter, it'll be done. Just so that is an option, whether they tell you it is or it isn't. If they don't agree to it, they just give you a fine for not doing, for basically, because it's an unarranged agreement. Do you get what I mean? Or if it's an arranged agreement, they agree to it, it goes on your file, that's that. So I wouldn't worry about busting your balls, to be honest, about getting it all paid in 1 month. Ring them up, be honest. I've just gone back registered. Accountants screwed me over a bit. It's my first one. So this is what I'm going to do. And that is what I would do. So, yeah, there's my advice on that.
Yeah, okay. Then the next part of this was rewatching the videos, and it mentions Google and Analytics. Should we be setting that up?
It's already set up, that. If you're Academy Plus, it's already set up. But Analytics is only Analytics. Analytics means fuck all. Analytics is like after the event. It doesn't improve the performance of the website having analytics on it. It just tells you what's going on the website, which we do look at. But again, it's all cause and effect. If you're doing blogs, case studies, and social media properly, then your website will naturally just improve anyway. Analytics, it's just sort of like looking back in time, going, what happened in the past?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's a window into the past. Analytics. It's not helping anything in the future.
And some people can, unless they use the data correctly, can become distracted with it. And I think
it's good to look at, but at the end of the day, it is good to look at, but we're already telling you what to do.
Yeah,
we're already telling. That's why Academy Plus is there. And this is what I mean. Like, there's a lot of reasons why. If I went into all the reasons why Academy Plus is there, people would be like, "Oh, there's a bit more to that." But you've never said that before. But the point is, we look at analytics. Academy Plus is there. That's why when people join Academy Plus, they start getting leads. They start, because we tweak the blogs and the case studies as per what analytics tells us, and we look at keyword research. We do all that shit. To get what I mean? So again, it is a bit pointless. If you're in Academy Plus, it is a little bit pointless to be looking at that.
Yeah. I just want to add into this as well is I've actually been following Matthew quite a lot on social media to see what he's been up to, and his social media posts at the minute are brilliant, really, really good. He's doing a lot of walk around his jobs and talking about what's happening. So it's the perfect content, really good. And I'm sure if he keeps doing that, the videos will get better, and that will all start to help, moving in the right direction. So he needs, well done to him for the.
And linking back to your website as well when you're doing your social media posts is important. Putting a first comment link in to say, visit our website here.
Yeah.
And all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And the only other bit for help and support is what he always says. He just likes a good kick up the arse. But I think that's something deep.
Well, he's had a few kicks up the arse, and he's done well as a result. You know what I mean? And he's another one that I always sticks in my mind, that he's got himself against the odds. And it's a credit to them. It's a credit to us. It's a credit to the whole community. It's a credit to the system. It's a credit to the effort, and how easy it is when you just put the effort in. So I think these are all really positive signs here that everyone, even when in other environments they probably wouldn't succeed, they're succeeding here because we're making it possible, and we're making it possible because we believe in them. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need someone to believe in you, don't you? Because it's when you're lacking belief in yourself, we've all been there. Just to know that other people do believe in you and then give you the framework to actually do it is massive. And you've got to give credit where it's due, that people take it with both hands and make it fucking happen. And he's doing it, and fair play to him. And it's you can't really fault it, to be honest. He's doing really well.
No, I just don't think I'm not going to take his request of an academy dungeon forward, because he might enjoy that a bit too much.
Especially if you're in it.
Absolutely. He'll never be out of it. Right.
Be crawling out of it.
Right, the next one, Jacob from JA Joinery. Right, so celebrating wins. He's stopped all subby work. He's learned and been practicing a lot with the trade portal and making life a lot easier. He's now got an office. It's not fully complete yet, stationed at his wife's business, which they own 50-50. He's also got a huge 10 metre by 5 metre workshop at the back, which he'll be fixing up and converting into a small showroom. Excited to say the least, and work still coming in.
Brilliant.
He is getting quite a lot of varied work. Since he added bedrooms to his website, he's submitting bedrooms coming through now, media wall, so he is seeing quite a lot of varied.
To be fair, I'm really happy with the response from media walls, bedrooms, and the New Year's posts that people put out.
100%.
Quite a lot of positive. It's given us something else to think about again this year, hasn't it, in terms of what more we could do for people. But let's get the next couple of months out of the way first.
12 steps transition is around 50% in, and finding it very helpful.
We'll make sure he goes back to step 3, as we put out. I said earlier tonight, obviously, and then I've said in the WhatsApp group as well that step 3 has been overhauled. And we need to remind people that step 1, 2, and 3 are the foundations of the academy. You can't just go scooting past step 1, 2, and 3 and think that you can wing it, because you'll come unstuck.
Yeah. Can you hear that in the background?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. I can't. Can you give me 1 minute so I can switch that off, because that's going to do my head in.
What is it?
I don't know. I've had a new alarm system fitted.
Right, okay. Right, let's crack on.
Technical issues. Right. Scorecard and cash flow sheet. So only just started looking at these. So same sort of message to Rob.
Yeah, not repeating that.
Yeah, especially if he's stopped all subby work. Personal growth. He's feeling less stressed, trying to be more organised, and going back to the gym in the morning too. So areas for support. Is there anything specific you need help with right now? So he always needs help. Don't think there's anything specific, but do feel I'm not understanding how to look at recruiting someone, which I feel might be sooner rather than later.
Is Jacob Academy Plus?
Just double check. Yes.
Right, okay. So I'm assuming then that he's going to go for Inner Circle. Has he started his Witch?
No.
No, okay. So in Inner Circle, I talk a bit about recruiting, and that you attract who you are at the end of the day. And sometimes in business, we're not ready to recruit. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying this is a lesson that I've learned myself. Is that when I was early on, when I was getting busy, I recruited all the wrong people because I was recruiting them because I was busy.
Mm.
And you've got to recruit people because you've got a mission. You've got to recruit people because you've got something that's important and something that needs doing. Does that make sense? You bring in a different sort of person when you have a reason for bringing that person in. So if you're bringing people in because you're busy with work and they think it's just because you're busy and they're just there to get things done, then you're going to end up with the wrong people around you. Whereas what I talk about in the academy, in the inner circle especially, is, bringing the people in that understand what your mission is way more important. And yes, that is going to be tradespeople, but the right sort of tradespeople. So recruitment is something you need to step back and really look at and think about what are you putting out there on social media? What are you attracting into your business? What are you doing generally? And what sort of caliber of person are you going to bring into your business at this point? Because sometimes, honestly, if I look back, it was better to struggle on my own for a little bit longer until I developed and then recruit people when you're a bit better at what you're doing. So, for instance, if he's not fully through the 12 steps and he's not sharpened his business brain properly yet, I'd be resisting it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to attract the wrong people.
Yeah, and I think Jacob he won't be. There's lots of external influences can rock, and I think we need to settle all that down first and make sure.
Yeah. And again, because if you're bringing people into a semi-chaotic environment for whatever reason, it's just going to propagate.
Yeah.
It won't get easier when you bring people in. If you bring people into the wrong environment, it's going to get fucking 10 times worse.
Yeah.
So again, I'm making assumptions there, and I'm just saying that, reading in between the lines that the office isn't quite set up, the 12 steps isn't quite finished. We're only just looking at scorecards and, stuff like that. We're not in proper business person thinking yet.
Yeah.
So when we recruit people, we need to be recruiting people as a business person. A
Yeah.
tradesperson shouldn't be recruiting another tradesperson. Tradespeople should be recruited by business people.
Yeah.
So until you've made that transition, you shouldn't be recruiting fucking anybody.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Really well put. Yeah. And then maybe just having a link in to see what part. So I'd say to Jason, just let us know what he thinks he's trying to recruit, what position he's trying to recruit for.
Well, it'll be the usual too busy. But again, before I get into that, it'd be where's your margins at? Where's your profit at? If your cash flow sheet isn't, we've only just launched the rates in the academy for people to put their own labour rates in. So again, I think there's a period here where he needs to sort of just not rush into anything and sort of get his head around the numbers properly and make sure that at the end of the day, he's asking, it's give me some advice, but I don't really know where I'm at myself sort of question. Do you get what I mean? And it's not helpful really, because it's like, I can't really, I'm not going to say, right, here's a recruitment strategy where they might use it and bring the wrong person into the business because they're not at a point themselves where the person they're going to potentially employ is even going to take them seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even though employees aren't business owners, they can definitely spot an incompetent one.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get employees that take the piss out of managers when they're not a good manager themselves, but they can definitely spot they're not a good manager.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. And things unravel fast then, don't they?
Oh, fucking rapidly. Yeah. Or even worse, they don't unravel for a long time and it just ends up being a roundabout, chaotic circle of shit for years because it becomes toxic and it becomes like, we think we're doing a good job, but we're not. And, we're running ragged. We've had people like that, do you know what I mean? Who try and play the fucking system, and they get found out and fucked off. These days a lot quicker than they did early on.
Yeah. Yeah. But it happens a lot quicker now because we've got a lot more, we're a lot more grounded and we've got.
Oh, exactly that. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So for where they're at, where the lads are at in their businesses, they've got to take it upon themselves to make their business look like a good place for someone to come where someone's going to actually respect them.
Yeah.
Not come in and go, this is a bit all over the show. It's a bit like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if you give that off and you try and bring someone into it, like that, if someone comes into his business, do you think someone coming into his business thinks that they could fuck with me?
Well, no.
No. And it's very clear that from the outset. Do you get what I'm saying? It's very clear on that job description. That's what you're going to do, mate. and if you don't, someone else will come and do it for you.
Yeah.
You know, and there won't be an emotion attached to it. This is a mission-based business, and it's going places, and we can't have passengers. And that might seem like an extreme thing to say for someone that's running a local bathroom or kitchen business, but if you think like that, you will be way better off.
But the important thing there, isn't it, because it's, you know, as a person, you're not projecting yourself like that as a person, as a massive dictator. It's just the business standards are already set, and everything's calm, you know, to a degree, for somebody to slot in and understand what's expected. So the moment they don't meet the business standards that's been set, they're exposed very quickly.
Yeah, and you've got to set the terms of engagement.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're not in a position to stand on steady ground and go, this is what I expect from you because my business is organized, I'm going to give you rates, I want things done at a certain time.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to pay. Don't take the piss. This is what I expect in terms of all these things. If you're not in a position to sort of say that and do that, and you're not confident around your numbers, if you bring someone in, they're just going to see, well, what's going on? Am I just there on the tools, just grafting with you? Is that what you need? Do you know what I mean? Because and some people will turn around and go, yeah, that is what I need. Well, if you just thought that that's what you need, then you're definitely not thinking like a business person. What you need is somebody to come in and help you with your mission to become one of the best local kitchen or bathroom businesses. That's what you're doing. And they've got to understand coming into that, this is what we're trying to do. So every interaction with the customer needs to be fucking top notch.
Yeah.
You know, everything needs to be right. But if you're still in a little bit chaotic yourself in any way, shape, or form, you're just going to propagate what you already are. And that's not what we want. So there's certain people in the academy that are ready for that because they're organized and they're on top of things and all the rest of it. And they are starting to employ people, you know, but while you're on the way to that, it's not the right time to do it. And I know that I'm not going in on Jacob here at all. This is broad education for everybody, you know, who will watch this in the future as well, that see it and go, yeah, that's me. And it's not a criticism because we've all been there.
Yeah.
You know, we've all been through that process. I have brought in the wrong people, mate, fucking loads of times. I don't say these things because I'm now in the ivory tower and I can look down and go, yeah, well, you know, that's, you know, it's not like that. I'm saying I've suffered for fucking years by thinking I was ready to bring people in because I had loads of work, play, you know, Charlie Big Bollocks, you know, come and work for me. And it was just fucking chaos. You know, it's one of the reasons why my first business went under, because I just had loads of fucking dickheads working for me and, you know, the wrong customers and not pricing properly and not project managing properly and just a fucking, you know what I mean? So don't do that, basically.
No. So looking ahead, what's the plan? Is in full swing. I will make this work. I'm excited for it. I'm just excited to get the additional pages and quote platforms added to the website so I can feel like the site's complete. Also, might need some guidance on how I've done that. I'll start recruiting. Yeah. So that's Jacob. Right. The next one is Matt Adolfo. I was looking forward to this one. So he's had a great Christmas, New Year, and managed to get all the New Year's sale posts done. Mostly scheduled and some on the bounce. 10,000 leaflets went out as well. Took the van wrap on himself and happy with it. As as Matt calls it, he's now weaponized his van.
Turn it into a weapon of mass destruction.
Well, I said I'm going to start using it. I said I'm not sure if that's the right term, but I actually quite like it, weaponizing his van.
No, it's true, isn't it? It's a weapon in your arsenal.
Yeah.
That you definitely need to use, you know. So good.
Heading around the estate agents and retail shops locally to put out leaflets and offer incentives. Editing and queuing up CSV files, Canva files for social media over the weekend.
Yeah.
12-step transition. I'm sort of hovering around the sections for social media, brand, van wrapping, etc. I really want to push the brand this year, so once all of this ticked off in January, then I'm hitting the builders campaign.
Yeah, good. Just the only thing I would say about the builders campaign is make sure that you have boxed off your retail side of your business first. You know, I always sort of prefer people to make sure they've got a steady flow of retail leads before they move on to the builders campaign.
Yeah,
because the builders campaign is something that you would do in your spare time. You know, I mean, some people have made it a priority, but even when they have done that, they've always ended up reprioritizing the retail work
Yeah.
in the end. Do you know what I mean? The builders campaign is good because it's just a little bit of a side tickle, and as we've seen with people that come in the academy trying to be the middleman with local trades, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work in that respect. It's not the right setup. Your setup is primarily retail, and good builders that, again, have a good stature in their own right, who are looking for good partners who share your values. They're the builders that you need to go with. Not the fucking plain white transit builder.
Yeah.
You want to be going for someone who's, got reviews on Facebook, Google. They're doing social media. They see what you see. They see the world through the same lens as you. Do you know what I mean? Don't go fucking preaching to people who don't get it.
Yeah.
Because they won't get it. Go and solve pain for someone who's having pain. That's what the builders campaign's about.
Yeah.
Don't try and convince someone that's like, oh well, I'll just do it like this, and he's just a one-man band who's just not asked, basically. He doesn't really have a vision for his own brand. That's not your ideal builder. So just want to sort of labour that point a little bit is that don't waste time with the wrong ones.
Yeah. Scorecard and cash flow sheet need to update both, but I'm starting to use the cash flow fresh this year to really get some use out of it. Fuck 2025. Need to review my outgoings anyway. So again, we need to review the scorecard and drop something back in there. Personal growth. A few touch and go moments over Christmas where I just didn't think it was going to work. Mainly caused by my brother leaving the business out of the blue, even though I've been stressing to keep him earning. It stung because he was in the declaration, but I pulled my finger out and saw small labour. It'll be a tough few months with a lot of outlay, but I'm determined to get things going the way I went. My partner is coming on part-time to help with project management, ordering, social media, and a few other bits. Once I've got it all in place. Her current job is logistics and organising engineers across the UK and uses Monday as well.
Yeah. And something just on people leaving your business, I'll just say this now. That can be painful, but one thing I've learned is that somebody leaving my business has never equaled a worse business.
Yeah.
Never. There's not one person that's ever left my business, either while I've had my own business or when he worked for me in the corporate world. I've never lost anyone where in the long term it actually didn't turn out to be a good thing.
Yeah.
Because at the time it feels like because you lose the current order. We get attached to the current order of things quite a lot. In our down moments, we cling on to what is currently around us because obviously that's psychologically what we do. But when shit happens like that, when someone leaves, it leaves a void. Do you know what I mean? And what we do naturally is we always improve things, don't we? What do we always say? When you focus on something, you improve it. When you don't focus on it, it gets worse. And that's the same when someone leaves. So if someone left our business tomorrow, we go, oh, that's a shame. And there's some critical people I would not like to leave.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? But I also know deep down that everyone that did leave, I would replace them with someone better.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't let it happen. I wouldn't let that loss and that gap become a problem.
Yeah.
All right, short term there'd be fucking bumps, there'd be things that go wrong and whatnot, but it's never equated to me, and it's not because of me, and it's not a special thing about me. It's just because the human brain works like that. There's a gap, there's a problem, solve it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? And that's why it always means that, and that you can apply to everything, not just people leaving your business. Do you know what I mean? It's like, as soon as you serve your brain the problem, it'll solve it.
Yeah.
And your brain's never going to put a replacement in there that's worse than what it was before.
No.
Naturally, it just won't do that unless you've got obviously some deep wiring fuck upness inside. And we know that there's heavily toxic people that can do things like that. But we're not talking about that here. We're talking about simple. That person's gone. Shit, I've got a problem. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What we're going to do? Right. They've gone. That's a bad thing, but it's also an opportunity.
Yeah. But the thing is, as well, is it goes back to the previous point of recruitment. It's going, once you've got a steady business and you're a business owner and you've got all these things in place, that it shouldn't create massive effects because you should be able to fix them quite, relatively quickly.
Yeah. And I think the word, from my experience, is families in your business usually don't equal good things either.
Yeah.
Not a close family anyway.
No. And he just mentioned that he's becoming healthier and less drinking as well, which is good. Weekend beer only, so that's always handy. Areas for support. I might get you to just assess the business and its processes over the coming weeks. I don't want to piss about with things that waste time.
Is Matt Academy Plus?
Yes.
Right. So obviously Academy Plus is having a fair few upgrades in it over the next few months. So I would say business processes are going to be a focus for anyone in Academy Plus. They should be for everybody, but what we try to do with the Academy is not overwhelm people too soon. That's why we like people to get to Academy Plus when they're comfortable to get there, or when they naturally get there. And then when they get there, they get new tools, don't they? Like they get the project tracker, the Monday. So because by then your business is probably moving a little bit more, and that's why Inner Circle only happens at a certain time. That's why we can't. That's why we'll never start people with Inner Circle and things like that straight away, because they need time to develop. Do you know what I mean? So I'd say to him there is he needs to be sort of staying close to us with his business processes, using his dashboards in Academy Plus, in the Monday dashboards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, good is good enough a lot of the time with processes. You can go a bit overboard. And I'm not saying don't focus on it, but I think I'd be focusing on that, but also just like say, worming my way through the 12 steps, make sure I've got step 1, 2, and 3 in the trade portal. I'm fluent on the sales process. I'm absolutely smashing, things like that. It's always good to sort of look ahead and want to complicate things and do more advanced stuff, which is natural. It'll happen at some point, but don't leave anything on the table behind, is basically what I'm saying. Don't try to run too fast where you're leaving basic errors on the table.
Yeah, I think that's good for Matt. I think he'll take a lot from that. Any major concerns? Do you have any worries or challenges? Funnily enough, cutting down on booze has solved all these problems. A little worried about taking a risk for a few months, mainly minimal on the tools, times, new labour, etc.
Yeah.
The rest is positive. I have every faith in my partner. Smash whatever I give her, and not only does she realise this, realise this is my business. She is incapable of not doing a good job. Rarely we work together. This isn't personal. Looking ahead, what's the plan? Visibility for the brand by weaponising his van, brochures, socials, A-boards, pushing the other services and finding a design studio outside the house. Succeed or bust in 2026.
Well, it'll definitely be succeed.
The pause then was like,
yeah.
Where is this going?
I think we've done the hard bit already, mate. I think that's what I would say here, is the hard bit has been done.
Yeah.
Now we need to hit maintenance mode and keep things under control, and make sure that the ego stays where it is, because I always say this, that the ego, I talk about it a lot, is, make sure that we don't feel wounded by the past. We don't feel overly confident about the future, just try and stay in that middle ground where, the destination is hard work. The destination here is optimization. The destination is making sure that you're in a position to work hard, provide, and stay fresh and healthy yourself, mentally, physically. That is the destination. If you can tick them boxes and go, I'm doing those things, you're sort of peaking in life.
Yeah.
And the destination isn't a bank balance. The destination isn't perfection. It's am I mentally, physically, financially doing okay? And is my mission in life and my local reputation and the people around me everything that I want, within reason, and I think if you can sit there and say yes to those things, you're already at the pinnacle of what it's ever going to be. You really are.
And Matt's doing really well. Again, he's the same, as Rob. He sends in check-ins religiously. He's active in his groups. He's really embracing the fact that it is he's got a team around him that wants him to succeed. So the fact that he's succeed or bust in 2026, the bust bit won't happen.
No, not under our watch.
No, he didn't do a loom because he hasn't done his makeup. He said so. Yeah. Right. The next one is Scott McLean. So SJM Kitchens. So he's finished his third supply and fit job before Christmas. Happy with how everything went and getting familiar with the product and the process now. Got a design session booked for this Friday and another call lead I need to book in for a survey that was referred to by a reputable builder that he met on a Christmas do and mentioned working with him. So he's now getting quite a few jobs, ticking over, winning the jobs that he should be.
Yeah. I really like Scott's progress, to be fair. I think he's by far one of what I'd call a clean member.
Yeah, well, that was one of my notes. He was like,
you know what I mean?
Write down what an ideal academy member, it's this.
Yeah, I think because I think I was talking to Scott for quite a while before he joined the academy as well.
Yeah.
We used to message quite a bit. He's just took his time. He's took his time. He's gone about it. He's just doing he's just plodding and he's just staying engaged. He's just doing his thing. He's just being an academy member. Yeah. I think he's just part of that mindset now that, this is my business. This is my support. He understands the ecosystem really well. And I think that, again, not kung-ho, not too slow, just right.
Well, he sums this up in his next bit, which is the 12 steps. He says, I'm often referring to this to see where I can do more in what I'm already doing or checking back to make sure I've implemented things the best way, making sure I've not missed anything and trying to keep things fresh in my head. Which feels quite emotional.
Well, it's like a film, isn't it? When you watch a film and you go, I don't remember this bit.
Yeah.
When you watch it again, and then you're like, is this bit been added in? Well, that's what the academy is going to be like, because you're going to go through the videos once. Oh yeah, I get that. And then when you watch it again, you go, hang on a minute, I don't remember that first time round. And I think that's where, putting them 90 minutes in, like if you've got, I say 90 minutes, but I remember when I was training to do stuff years ago, I would just binge it fucking all day, every day. Do you know what I mean? So if you're really dedicated to this, then videos will just be on constantly, and just soaking it in. But yeah, he's done great, to be fair.
Yeah. So scorecard and cash flow sheet. So you're using these, they're critical to stay on track. So yes and nowhere, and yes, nowhere near how I should be, but I'm trying to be consistent and I know it will improve. My trouble is something on the scorecard are not happening as well as I want, i.e. leads and surveys. So it's hard doing the scorecard sometimes. I'm thinking no leads, no surveys, but I know it will come and I keep doing what I'm doing to get them green.
Yeah, and that's, again, he's going to get them green because he's focusing on them. It's back to the same point we said before. If he's not looking at them, he's never going to think, shit, I need to do that. If you're not reminded of the things you're not doing, you won't fucking do them, will you?
No.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Right, personal growth. Another common theme here. Boxing Day was 1 year sober, which I didn't think would happen, but really happy with that. I'm doing a lot more on my personal mindset, listening to some really interesting podcasts and books on changing mindset and creating better habits.
Doing books?
Yeah, books. One day, everybody, I'm going to put a lesson on the academy to speak properly.
Fucking books.
You've known me a long time now. You've never changed me and you never will.
Oh, God.
I finally got up to the gym and planned it into my weeks now, so hoping to stick at it. I get married in September, so hoping I'm in better shape for then.
That's the worst news we've had for a long time.
Should that be is that in the personal growth
section? That should be in the where you need help section.
So no, really good.
I'm only kidding, mate.
Areas for support. I'm not really too sure. I feel I'm doing the things I should be. 3 90 minutes in Academy Plus. Socials are all scheduled, so just pushing through. I'm going to start doing some videos with me in them as much as I would rather not. I know it's necessary to push to the next level.
Well, the first thing I'll be looking at there is if you're doing 3 90 minutes, push it to 4 and 5 because you've still got gaps. Your leads and surveys need solving, doesn't it? So an extra 90-minute or 2 session a week is where I'd be going there.
Yeah. Need to do a bit of digging on content I can do rather than a video for the sake of a video, if that makes sense. So I think a key there would be have a look at Matt's.
Yeah, but there's a fine line here between content and, again, I'll be talking about this at the event. Obviously, I've been putting some stuff out personally on my profiles, which I don't really push, as you know. But I've been sort of tinkering with a few things, and I'm going to talk about this at the event anyway. I'm not going to say too much now, but you need to keep it raw. Yeah, your social content's got to be raw. Don't go out there going, oh, I'll chat GPT 20 things I can talk about on social media that people might find interesting. Because trust me, no one's going to find it interesting.
Yeah.
What people want to know about is your business and you. That's what that social media bit is for. This isn't about followers. This is about converting customers at the right time of the process. And they want to see what's going on the jobs. They want to see what you're doing behind the scenes. They want to see what sort of person you are. Because these are people that are going to do business and spend a lot of money with you. Don't bore people with like, oh, here's a fucking blue shaker door that we do in 10 different colors. Like, it's just boring. Do you know what I mean? But here's something that we're working on as a business at the moment. Think about what you're doing. Don't talk about anything outside of what someone would be interested in. Think about your social media content with regards to what we're encouraging people to do is, what would a potential customer find interesting?
Yeah.
And that's what you should be putting your content out about. But other than that, good.
Yeah. Again, he's just focused on the right areas, though. Again.
Yeah, keeping it.
So he's got some external influences that's causing it to be a tricky time at the minute. I won't bring those up. And it's difficult to focus as there is an element of worry. But kind of used to that worry and juggling being there, and still doing what needs to be done. So
yeah, and again, it's always that fine line between giving the right advice and being sensitive and things like that. But like my view is this: as long as I'm alive, that business needs to be alive. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, for me, that's the way I think about things, is that I've got to keep this business alive for many, many, many reasons.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's why it always rises to the very, very top of my sort of mental capacity. Because in this day and age, a business is, or an income, should we say, is the sort of the number one thing that looks after everything else. If we don't keep that at the top, I'm not saying you can always keep it at the top every single day, every minute of every day. I'm not saying like you disregard other things and big issues in your life, but we do have to be grounded in the fact that whatever happens outside of that business, it is that business that will also solve a lot of the problems for us. And we have seen it with people, mate, where they have issues in life, they take their eye off the business, and then them issues in life get fucking worse.
Yeah.
And it is sad. It's just the way it is. But money in business is up there with oxygen and fucking water, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we have to, no matter what's going on, try to eke out some space in the week to keep that ship sailing and keep it going. And I think doing, the only thing I would say here is, if you need to bring things down a notch, doing something is better than doing nothing. If you register a 0, that's where your head starts to fall a little bit too much. So a 90-minute might just become a 10-minute. Do you get what I mean? Because you literally haven't got capacity for anything more. But don't register nothing. Don't do fuck all. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's put Luke in ahead here. What's the plan? So the plan is to hit the ground running with these 2 jobs that he's got in the pipeline. He's got an ad going He's got an ad going out in a local magazine and some door leaflets coming. Plan to flood his area with marketing so everyone will see the brand. Need to be winning more jobs this course so I can pay for the wedding.
Sounds like a plan. Well, he knows where he's going, and that's the main thing. He's got the sales set, the wind's blowing. It's just a matter of keeping it up and cracking on.
Yeah, and again, I just need to reflect back to the beginning. He's a perfect academy member to a degree, in the sense of that, he knows what he needs to do. He's steady away. Things will just naturally start to happen, and keep these check-ins coming in.
Yeah, the check-ins are really important. And it's funny, like the same names that are successful keep popping up.
Yeah. Right. So this is a member checking somebody who's lost their virginity. This is the first checking they've ever done.
All right.
So
Did
this
you
is
go around to his house?
so this is Anna from Crossman.
So sorry. I would say it at the wrong time, wouldn't I?
Well, yeah. Celebrating wins. So after the last 4 weeks, we have been close to invoicing £500 a week figure, which was our aim. We transitioned our own old bathroom process and our website to using our CRM for all the leads and links. And we have an organic lead home survey from our website. We have been accepted to offer finance and had a good response to the New Year sales.
Good. Be careful on the finance. Can of worms. Keep us close on that. We'll just leave it there with finance. I've talked about it a lot of times in previous, but yeah, glad to see the New Year sale thing has worked again for people.
And I think again, just pointing out there that she's sort of brought this up, that their existing business had a website and they didn't switch it off. They've transitioned away from it, and it's now, like we've always said with everybody, it's brand new. We've never said don't stop doing what you're originally doing. You transition away from it, and she's now doing it, which is one of the reasons why I said you've got to do a check-in now, because that side is becoming less than the new business, if you like. 12 steps where they're up to networking and working on the builders campaign.
Yeah, just a reminder to go back into step 3, as I've said, and we're going to keep mentioning that.
Well, you'll mention it later on in this check-in. Scorecard and cash flow sheet, yes, using the fill out one at the moment, transition to the digital one on Academy Plus. So they are using and Anna will, because she's all over stuff like that. Personal growth, what progress have you made on a personal level? Have managed to train someone up over the last few months to do those small tasks so I can focus on the business, and my health is improving.
Brilliant.
Areas for support. We're struggling with materials and staff, both quoting accurate cost that include consumables and not losing money on the job, as well as keeping the day-to-day of more than one job site organised in terms of materials and tools and staff members. I spoke to Lee a bit on this, and I've redone our quoted system with materials built in for each task, and we'll give our employee access to a prepaid card for the job he's on his own to speed up jobs. We're organising tools and equipment over Christmas. In addition, in terms of staff managing and resolving issues that are slowing down on the job, expectations that are slowing down job completion times. So one of the things that was mentioned over that period was, you know, somebody, a slow installer, somebody takes a little bit longer on a job.
Yeah, we've been there. Fucking hell.
But I think here is where we've updated step 3.
Yeah, step 3 obviously critical there, because it's like getting a grip of that. And I covered it earlier on in the night, and I cover it in the first video in that step 3 before it goes into the tutorials that you've done. That you've got to see this now as a real setting point in the map on the journey, where you go, right, this is when we stop losing money.
Yeah. Major concerns: losing money on materials and staff, needing extra days, and wastage in terms of too many materials and owing some money to HMRC. We are still struggling under this, but our numbers are improving. We have redone our costings and have used the calculator to know what we need to and how to aim. We need to now utilise Monday. Has just got into Academy Plus.
Good. Well, the tools in Academy Plus, and hopefully they go for Inner Circle as well. Are they coming to the event?
Yeah.
Right, cool. So hopefully at the event they take advantage of what we're going to put in front of everybody there, and that'll be a push into getting as many people into gold as possible over the next couple of months, which obviously with with Inner Circle and Gold, there's like project management tools in Academy Plus, there's more stuff coming down the tracks. So again, because those businesses are going to be needing proper project management, enterprise level help systems, and assistance. So I think they just need to, I don't want to sort of nitpick on too much there, because they are clearly moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I don't want to sort of overcomplicate the brains and give them something else to think about. But I just, yeah, I think the bit that's sticking in my mind a little bit is the extra days on jobs and, you know, all that shit. And it is painful that. But again, that's probably a couple of things all happening at the same time. That's one, you're not pricing properly to start with.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be a thing. You're not allowing any contingency. You're probably not setting clear expectations with the person doing the job. You're letting them work on a day rate when it probably should be a price. And, you know, one rule that we stroke I had early on as well was, if I gave the lads a price, so say for instance it was £3,000 to do this job, I'd say to them, within the first 24 to 48 hours of the job starting, if there's something on the rip out that means that this price can't be honoured, then let me know.
Yeah.
And I would say the same thing to the customer as well. So, and say, you know, well, I wouldn't always, it depends on the size of the job. If I thought they come back and say they need an extra day, I'll just swallow it. But I would make it clear right at the beginning of the job that after the rip out, if you see something, because obviously if there's something on the rip out where the customer's not even aware of it, then you've got the right to go back to the customer and go, well, we've done the rip out, we've spotted this, we're going to have to charge for it. That's fine, that's fair. Do you get what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there's got to be some onus here that, and I used to say to lads at work for us, you know, you as a fucking professional tradesperson should be able to turn around and go, right, I've ripped out, I've reviewed my price and the drawings, and yes, I can still honour that price. Or I've spotted this, and I'm going to need extra half a day or 2 days, or you know, whatever it might be. And that's what they've got to hold people to. They've got to make sure that that system is in place, because if they price properly to start with, a little bit of contingency in there, and then make sure that after the rip out, within 24 hours, if that person hasn't come back to him and said they need extra time, extra money, if it goes over, it's their fucking cost. You're on a price, mate. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? So I think there's disciplines are missing there, project management disciplines, and just experience, knowledge, numbers, pricing. It's just, and again, that's why I don't want to sort of, you know, I'm not criticizing too hard. I'm only putting the bits in there that are missing, and because they're going in the right direction, they're tracking numbers, they're hitting the target they want, they're starting to move in the right direction, and they'll pick these things up over time. Yeah. But I think what we can do there with that little bit, we can just maybe speed that up a bit and make it a bit less painful. And then probably the final problem is that the person working for them might not be the right person.
Yeah.
I think that's probably true somewhere in there, which they'll want to deal with by getting these changes in place first, see how they react. But if it was me, I'd be recruiting someone new, because someone that repeatedly goes over jobs, it never ends well.
No,
it doesn't end well, as you know.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't end well ever, and it never will. And you're not going to be the exception. So see that with this person, the writing's probably on the wall, but again, they're still working, they're still doing it, they're still keeping things ticking along. So we put a couple of things in place to sort of manage it. But I guarantee that person's probably not going to respond in the way that they want them to. They might do short term, but it will slip back into old habits. Yeah. But what they need is regime change. They need a regime change here of business processes improved and the correct people brought in that will follow them. Yeah, that is ultimately what will happen there, 100%.
Yeah. And you're right. I think a lot of these tools, because she does embrace a lot of the new, you know, the things as they come in. She does embrace it and implements it, and asks a hell of a lot of questions about to make sure it's sunk in and she understands how to use it. So it's great. Right. So looking ahead, what's the plan? So we'll go into the event and need to ask a question about which. So which it needs to be addressed to which. So it's about eligibility.
Okay.
So we are now transitioning into the full, complete KBB sales process and using the CRM and project plans and costings exactly as how they should be. Doing good and may need to tidy up the CRM coaching session and also to look at our new quoting process, which we can send. We are now doing a leaflet campaign, so hoping for more kitchen leads. So by April, we are reliably doing the 5K a week invoicing.
Brilliant. You've got clarity anyway, haven't they? That's the thing.
I think that's one thing that you know, that they're at Craftsman. They're absolutely clear, and again, they're engaging, and that's why it's been a really quite enjoying, because the last quarter of last year, it was like a complete, again, mindset shift, and then things flipped. And it was from a conversation that, stop referring back to how you used to do it to how this is, because you wouldn't be here if everything that you used to do worked.
Yeah, the academy is a transplant of everything that you thought you knew. You've got to be able to let go of everything that you knew before, because it is different, but it's the right way to do it, but we're not educated on the right way to do things as business people. When we're tradespeople, but we pick up bad habits from all sorts of quarters and things we see online and people who talk shit, you know what I mean? So, when you actually come into something like this and you're like, this is how you actually do it, and it's like, it will feel strange and alien because it's not what you've heard before.
Yeah.
If you'd heard it before and you knew it, you wouldn't fucking be here, would you? Do you get what I mean? And I think that's the way you got to accept that you're walking into like a college or a university, or an academy where you learn something new, and it's, learning something new means unlearning what you knew before.
Yeah. Right, last one. So this one's Grant from Elite. So celebrating wins, work's being consistent. It doesn't feel like there's been anything massive to celebrate, but consistency in itself is probably something I should recognise as a win.
Oh yeah, 100%. And again, that's just maturity in business thinking now. It's not new business thinking. That's maturity that, like I said to you, sometimes you've got to accept that this is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
In terms of where I'm going, not like your business won't get better and your life won't get better. But what I'm saying is that rhythm of life is the goal. That hard work and the rhythm of life is the goal. Everything around it improves slowly over time, but that is what the nucleus is of doing it. So yeah, getting there and actually recognizing that, because again, we've said it before, we've had people get there, get lazy, think, oh, I've done it, oh, I've completed it. Because some people literally have seen the academy as like a bit of a conquest, haven't they?
Yeah.
Where they've come in, they've done it, they've done really well, they've become rich trusted traders, they've done everything we said, they've made loads of sales, they've made loads of money, and then they fucking leave.
Yeah.
And when they leave, they don't go to a better place.
Never.
They've never left and gone, oh, it was really good, the academy, but I'm going to go and now build something bigger without you. Yeah. They've always left and gone onto something different and ended up worse off.
Yeah.
It's like a conquest, and it's not a conquest. It's like come in and do it and complete it and fuck off just to prove that you did it. It's like, no, what you're here to do is what Grant's doing, and that's build a long-term sustainable business and recognize exactly what he's just said, is that consistency is the thing, the key.
Yeah, and what's quite funny there is when he's put, and this again, I know I can feel where he is. He's put, I don't feel like there's anything massive to celebrate. Well, I asked you when I interviewed and grilled you, what gives you the buzz? And you didn't really, nothing really gives you a buzz anymore. It's just the rhythm. So it's nice to sort of feel that he's now at that level. 12 steps. I've been dabbling through it so far rather than following it properly. I'm going to use this break to reset and start again from the beginning and commit to it more consistently. Scorecards, we know he does that religiously.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, like with Grant, because something to just sort of point out there, what he's saying about the 12 steps is that he's not done it religiously. But what the difference is with Elite is they had a business before they came to us. And what they were missing was things like the scorecard and the cash flow sheet. A lot of the stuff in the 12 steps they were sort of already doing. They were already pricing jobs. They were already doing social media. They were already doing the online profiles. They're already doing quite a lot of stuff that's in the 12 steps. So I don't want people listening to that think, oh, Grant doesn't do the 12 step, or he hasn't been doing it. Do you get what I mean? Because Grant wasn't coming from ground zero. Grant and Danny were coming from an established but not profitable business. And that's what we've made them into, is a profitable business and proper business owners.
Yeah, personal growth. I've been consistent with my morning routine, which has helped my mindset and discipline. Gym sessions have been part of that, and my next step is adding cold plunges in the morning to build more mental resilience and focus. Areas for support. I'm looking at investing in a social media manager. Creating and editing content takes up a lot of my time. So passing this over to someone who knows what they're doing and can post consistently would free me up to focus more on the business and work on my numbers, especially improving net profit percentage.
Yeah, well, just tell him to wait a little bit,
Wait,
until. Pardon?
I just said wait, Grant.
Yeah, wait, Grant. No, I think there's a few things that are happening in the academy that he's probably just want to take a minute to pause on for a moment. So before he jumps into social media of anything different to what he's already doing, I'd say give it a couple of weeks, get past the event, and let's talk about it again.
Yeah. Any major concerns? I don't mind being in front of the camera, and I'm happy to do that. But I sometimes hit mental blocks around what to actually record. A lot of the time, I'm not using the tools. I'm not on the tools, and I'm either in the office or out quoting, which makes it harder to think of content in the moment.
Yeah, and the way that you get around that is to just basically turn the camera on and start talking and don't even think about what you're going to say. And just make, even if the video ends up being 15 minutes long, because and waffle and then go, fucking hell, I can't say that. And talk to yourself and, get your brain into the role where if you wait till you're like, fucking hell, I've got it. And then you turn the camera on. It just doesn't work like that. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm saying is you have to sit and plan it a little bit and then turn the camera on. And if a 15-minute video of waffle and bollocks gets turned into 2 minutes worth of content, then that's what you do. You just chop it all out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just turn the camera on and start talking. Just have a few things you want to talk about and just go. And then edit it later.
Yeah. And I'm looking ahead, what's the plan? I want to get out there more across on social media and be consistent on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I've been focusing more on these platforms lately as I see them as where we get a lot of future work will come from. With the next generation growing up and constantly consuming this type of content.
Yeah, well, it's thinking ahead. And it is becoming not social media anymore. It's becoming attention media.
Yeah.
So, you have to take it seriously, I'm afraid, unfortunately.
Yep. So that's the last of the check-ins.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for joining me. I think everyone would have enjoyed the different format of two people talking, like with Tom. So, yeah, thanks for that, mate. And I will catch up with you shortly.
Catch up. Yeah. See you later.
See ya. There we go. Right. So, what did you think of that one then? So we've had Tom last week. We've had Lee this week. And I like this format. I think it works well. It saved my voice a bit as well tonight. And I'm not going to keep you for much longer because we've been on for quite a while now, getting on for 1 hour, well, just over 1:45. So let's put a pin in it tonight. I hope you've all enjoyed your check-ins. I hope you've enjoyed the content. Again, don't forget to, you know the drill. Get your check-ins in. Look what we're doing here now. Things are beefing up a little bit. Plenty of check-ins, and we didn't do them all tonight. We've had to pull some out, and we'll do them separately for other reasons as well. But yeah, we're up for a big year this year, guys. This is it now. Event Friday. If you're not coming to the event, you'll definitely find out what happened at the event shortly after. So again, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Get your check-ins in before next Monday at 1 o'clock, so they'll actually be featured on the clinic, because again, we have to have a cut-off point at some point. Okay, so good night. I'll see a lot of you on Friday. And for those that I don't see on Friday, we'll be in touch anyway. And we'll see you next Wednesday on the KV Supply Services stream, where we will go deeper into the changes around the design service, because there's been a few new developments there, as I mentioned earlier on. So I'll be getting Tom to do a bit more on that and give you a bit more insight. Okay, right. So good night. Take care of yourselves. I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.